Thankful. Mark has probably had the longest relationship with Jeff, going back to Princeton, and I thought it would be appropriate for Mark to treat Jeff well once, and I've told him to do that, and we're going to let Mark speak at this time.
According to my watch and the schedule, I'm done. I'm done. Okay. Just saying. A roast is just a tribute covered with hot sauce, isn't it? Something like that. So we're going to give you a tribute, Jeff. So I've been asked to say some words about my colleague Jeff Peterson, and I have worked alongside him for the past 25 years, but my professional and personal relationship extends much earlier than that, to when we were both MDiv students at Princeton Seminary. I met him first in '87. He was there till '90 and then went on to bigger and better things at Yale. But I would like to say a few words about Jeff as a student, as a political pundit, as a professor, as a colleague, as a scholar, and as a churchman. Okay? I'd like to say briefly those things, probably about 10 minutes per category. If that's okay. Jeff Peterson as a student. Jeff informs me that he had perfect attendance in VBS in 1979.
I peaked early.
Let's fast forward a bit from there. My first memory of Jeff as a student was in the MDiv program at Princeton. We were both in, I think that first semester he was there in the Northwest Semitic Epigraphy course. Say that quick 5 times. I'm not sure you'll get through that, and we barely did. He seemed at the time to favor going into PhD studies in Old Testament, as I recall, and in fact, he won the thesis award in Old Testament at Princeton. Don't correct me if I'm wrong with any of this. Let us live in our fantasy world, okay? Northwest Semitic epigraphy drove it out of him, and he went. To me, it was exciting stuff, Ammonite inscriptions, Phoenician trivia, right? That's just was exciting and motivating. For some reason, it wasn't to Jeff, and he went into New Testament studies as quickly as he could. What he did decide to do at Princeton was take the absolute hardest courses he could possibly find. Those courses that others of us only with fear and trembling would even consider. One of those was Northwest Semitic Epigraphy. Another one was any course offered by the philosophy prof Diogenes Allen. What a name for a philosophy teacher, right? Of whom it was said that students regularly left his courses weeping, right, from such rigor. But he was very successful in the courses that he had at Princeton and later on at Yale, took the hardest and the best professors, and was exemplary. Jeff as political pundit. As opposed to my advice to him, I don't know if you remember this, Jeff, I said, keep your head down, right?
Okay.
At Princeton, keep your head down, because Jeff was making no attempt to hide his political commitments at mostly liberal Democratic Princeton. So keep your head down, but he did not do anything of the sort, and yet he was left alone and was revered by the Women's Center at Princeton. I never understood that because I tried my best to stay behind, keep a low profile, and it didn't work well for me. Jeff was, as I understand it, a young Republican on the debate squad in high school, right?
College.
In college, okay. And I don't think it stretches the truth to say that though New Testament studies is his profession, his prior passions, prior to New Testament studies, were politics and old TV shows and old movies. His prior passions. His colleagues know what's coming at the lunch table when he says, "Fellas, have you seen such and such movie?" that sometimes we've heard of and often we haven't. Or my favorite, "Did you read the political blog by fill in the blank, Zechariah Zeitmeister," or whoever, Some politician I've never heard of. Jeff keeps up with all such. Jeff Peterson as a professor and comedian. I have to put both of those together because he joins them seamlessly, apparently. He's always been a popular teacher at Austin Grad, but it's difficult to speak of Jeff as a teacher without also referencing him as self-proclaimed comedic expert. For 25 years, Jeff has entertained his Greek students. Some of you have had Greek with Jeff, right? Raise your hand. If you've had Greek with, bunches of you have not had Greek with yourself. It does not count. And has entertained them with jokes and anecdotes. Do we do violence to the word joke, to use that of Jeff? And anecdotes, a T-shirt with Greek verbomatic, I can't even say the word, Greek verbomatic parsing scheme on the T-shirt. You still have that, don't you?
It eventually wore away. That was the students' contribution.
That was the students, okay. All right. Well, it's the tribute then to your verbomatic system. I thought, this is a confession, I thought many years that his claim to comedic virtuosity was exaggerated until he was invited to do a comedic routine at the Christian Scholars Conference in Nashville on television. And I was not there, but I heard it was very good. And also, I was there when he emceed a tribute to one of our mentors in the past, J.J.M. Roberts, at ACU, and he was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, okay, how come he didn't reserve some of those comedic jewels for his faculty colleagues around the lunch table? Work on it, Jeff. Come up with material suitable.
Gotta have some downtime.
Yeah, for the faculty. Jeff is a colleague. Jeff has been amenable to doing some of the slogging, a lot of the slogging the last 5 to 10 years, on behalf of the faculty through the swamps of reaccreditation, online course offerings, and consortial arrangements with other institutions, for which the faculty has been very grateful. And his willingness to subject himself to such accreditation and consortial arrangements and those minefields has been worthy of faculty praise because it gets us off the hook for all such. Maybe that's why the faculty was happy to re-up him for faculty chair for 3 successive terms, more than any other in history, 3 successive terms. What about Jeff in a more pointed way as a colleague? Well, practical jokes in general have been sort of the stock in trade. Earlier years, more so than now, probably. He's mellowed, maybe? I don't know.
Matured?
Have to think about that one. If long ago in a galaxy far, far away, Jeff was concerned that Michael apparently, and I probably get the details wrong, but I was telling Keith Stanglin, it doesn't matter if the details are wrong. It's in the telling of the story that it kind of accretes new elements that weren't there originally. That's okay. That's how this works. Jeff was concerned maybe that Michael had taken one of his books, and so he kept asking Michael about it. And so Michael couldn't find one of his books. And so he kept asking, Jeff, did you take my book? And I don't recall. I wish I did remember. I don't recall the book. What was it, Jeff?
Diogenes Allen, Philosophy.
Philosophy for Understanding Theology. There you go. Diogenes rears his ugly head yet again. And Michael couldn't find it, kept asking Jeff. Finally, Michael finds it in his office. And so he sneaks down to Jeff's office and sticks it on Jeff's shelf in his library in his office. And then he begins asking Jeff, have you seen Philosophy for Understanding Theology? Have you seen my copy? No, I don't have your copy of Philosophy for Understanding Theology. I don't have it. So Michael, go back to his office, look around. Jeff, have you seen my book? I do not have your book, Michael. Quit bothering me. Finally, Michael goes down to his office and Jeff, please, I just need you to look and see because, I cannot find my copy of Philosophy for Understanding Theology. No, Michael! And I actually heard this. No, I do not have your book. See? So lots of that sort of thing went on. Jeff is a scholar. It's been common knowledge that Jeff is an excellent scholar, an excellent student of New Testament. When he was being reviewed for promotion, and I conducted this promotion review actually, a well-known scholar at another institution, well-known scholar, said that his work is always first-rate. He has regularly been the chair of sections in the Society of Biblical Literature and has been an ongoing contributor to those sections at SBL as well. He's been a prolific editor of other people's work and do not make me perjure myself, Jeff, soon have his own major work published through Baker Bookhouse, correct? Thank you. There's a whole history there as well, off camera. Jeff is a churchman. Jeff has for many years been a supply preacher at UA. I think that's fair to supply, right? I don't know, the Presbyterians like that word. I don't know, what do we call it? Off again, on again preacher. Guest preacher.
I'm a member there and they let me speak when they forget what the last one was like.
Yes, something like yeah, that's it. That's it. At Westover Hills, he filled in for, I think, no, didn't you?
I was a member there and
okay. I'm seeing where this is going. Bastrop Christian Church, is that fair? Okay, I can say that one because you've never been a member at Bastrop Christian. All right. And there are other places, but those are the ones that come to mind most readily. Jeff is always willing to fill in where there's a need. It is most revealing of his character, though, the things he did off camera, where he maybe wasn't aware that people were observing, or where most people don't know what he did. It is quite a testament to Jeff that in Jack Wright's final year or two, Jeff would go, I think at least once a month, and maybe more often than that, and spend time with Jack at his retirement home. My wife and I were privileged to be invited to a few of these where we went and had wine and cheese and sat with Jack. And hopefully it was a bit of an encouragement to Jack and providing him a little bit of comic relief maybe. But that spoke volumes to me, what Jeff did for Jack. I don't think that was the only such that he has done throughout the last couple of decades, but my understanding is that it's part of his character to be there for especially older saints as they go through difficult times. Jeff has been the faculty member, I think, most likely to attend funerals of students or those close to them to offer support and comfort. And some of you here know that personally. So it is my honor. There is probably mostly truth of the things that I've said, and probably some elaborations. But it truly is my honor to be Jeff's faculty colleague for the past 25 years, and I wish him another 25 years of productivity, scholarship, ministry at Austin Graduate School of Theology, and may he continue to slog through the minefields of reaccreditation, online courses, and the like, to let us off the hook. So, thanks, Jeff.
It's more than a paperweight. There's a lot there. Thank you, Mark. Great tribute. I was going to say some things. If Mark left anything out, I can't think of anything that he left out. I want to tell you my first memory of Jeff, though. In my years of preaching, I always look forward to Christian Studies coming out. And was it about 92, the first one you wrote? 93. And he had an essay in there that I thought, who's this Jeff Peterson guy? Man, that's a good essay. And I really benefited from it. And I was looking forward to meeting Jeff, this guy with that type of stature and so forth. And then I come to Simmons Seminar the May after that, and there's this little guy running around. This young little guy that I thought maybe one of the preachers had brought their son. And who is this guy? He acts like he belongs here. And they said, well, that's Jeff Peterson. Oh, that's Jeff Peterson. And we had several barbecue meals after that. And I invited Jeff to come to Granbury to speak because his scholarship has been for the church. It's been helpful. I will name one of the esteemed scholars, biblical scholars, New Testament scholars, that has commented on Jeff, and that's Todd Steele, who is dean at Truett Seminary at Baylor. And when we were talking about doing some cooperative things at one time, he mentioned, well, I know Jeff's work, especially at SBL, Society of Biblical Literature, and said he's an outstanding scholar, and I know that you're doing that type of work there. So Jeff has served us well, not only here at the school, but in the broader context as well. And one thing I appreciate about all of our professors is that they are churchmen. That was one thing that I was told when I came here. They are committed to the church, and that has continued to be true. Jeff is no longer that little kid running around. He now has a full beard. I don't know if he had a razor at that time. But seeing, sorry, that's a low blow. Ben got a good one out of that, though. But seeing Ben with him, I also wanted to comment on this. Several years ago, Lane and I commented that Jeff had done such a good job of staying in touch with his children. That's right. Through some difficult times. And the children have come out to be grown-ups that show the character of both mother and father, but Jeff stayed in there, and I admire that very much. Jeff, on behalf of Austin Grad, we're honored to honor you with this designation of your 25th year. And I know we're a little bit late, but that was your fault because you had to go to Aunt Something's birthday party when we were going to give it last time. But we're thankful to give this to you, and I'll give you the podium to correct anything Mark and I said.
I was halfway prepared to respond to a roast. I'm not sure I'm really going to be able to respond to all the nice things that were said.
It's a tribute with hot sauce.
I missed the hot sauce. Thanks to Mark and to Stan, both for things that they could have said but didn't, and for the very kind and generous things that they did say. The beauty of this job, from my very narrow point of view, has been the people that I've been able to work with here in Austin, my teaching colleagues, the folks who have worked in administration and made it possible for us to do the teaching that we do, folks like y'all who participate in our work and are, as John said, partners in the gospel with us in the small little corner of the kingdom of God that we cultivate here with colleagues in other institutions. It's been wonderful to be able to collaborate with other scholars of the Bible and the Christian faith in the Society of Biblical Literature and in other places that the school has supported me in attending. I'm deeply grateful for that and deeply grateful to be concluding 25 years. It's not that I have a certain level of mixed feeling about 25 years. I don't understand where the years went, but I'm appreciative of Mark's kind wish and hope for another 25. God bless you all. Thank you very much.